Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast. Your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Stuff and Things Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me on this Walking Dead Wednesday to discuss the latest episode of Season 11 of The Walking Dead is my partner in crime, it's Stefan.
It's me again, back once again like a renegade master.
I think it's a generational thing. I can't not think of that if someone says I'm back again. But then there's also Eminem, like...
Guess who's back? Yep.
Yeah, so...
I could have gone for either.
It's a bit like when someone shouts stop and I immediately think hammer time.
Nice.
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
But then there's other people who go like, stop in the name of love.
I hate the fact that that's where I went to.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dear.
It's cool. It's cool. Everybody's different. Some people are straight.
Hammer time was much cooler, yeah.
Yeah. So we have The Walking Dead Season 11 Episode 2, title of the episode.
Acheron, Part 2.
Yeah.
Acheron. Acheron, Part 2.
I was listening out for this.
I didn't hear anyone say it.
No, I was thinking I must have missed it. But
it's not even like, oh, we're heading to Acheron.
No,
they're heading to Meridian. I'm like, what's going on
here? Yeah. So I'm confused by that. I could probably look it up and I'd be like, oh right, okay. But I haven't wanted to do that because I haven't wanted to do that before we record. Because sometimes you see stuff and you're like, oh damn it, that changes everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't go on IMDb. This is the warning for all our listeners. Do not go on IMDb and look up episodes. Because I always go on the beginning of every podcast we record. I load up IMDb. I click on that week's episode just to see if there's any they have the little goofy bits like the trivia stuff at the bottom of it, and every now and again you find a really cool bit of trivia or something like that on there. Yeah. But actually, it's got the synopsis for the first 8 episodes with some serious spoilers. So if you're listening, don't go on IMDb.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so this episode, we finished discussing part 1 last week, and we were basically discussing the scenario where Negan, what's going to happen with the Maggie situation. He basically left her, and I think both of us were kind of in agreement of it would kind of suck if it's as straightforward as, I'm going to leave her to die. Because then that's the dynamic between those two just continues as it is. Yeah. It would be kind of great if he jumps off, saves her, because then it's a really strange and interesting dynamic, because where does she go then? It's like, I hate you with a burning fire, I want you to die, you've just saved my life, this is awkward.
What do I do now?
Yeah, okay, does that mean I don't kill you in your sleep? Does that mean I shoot you because that's nicer than the way I was going to kill you? It just would be interesting to see that dynamic then develop. So for us to see straight away that isn't what happened, and Negan does just jump in the car like, oh, what? She's not behind me? I'm kind of like,
I did feel this was a bit of a cop-out.
No, I will say, as the episode goes on, I felt, okay, they have kind of created a more interesting dynamic by the way they're telling the story. But in that initial instance of him jumping in, Maggie obviously climbing under the train, which was the obvious place you'd go. It kind of just felt like, obviously she's okay and she's going to get back into the train. And obviously we're then going to have a situation where she walks in, he left me to die, everyone turns on Negan, and it's kind of like, it's just a continuation of the same thing, which kind of... I
was half expecting her to have crawled the entire length of the train.
And these there guys, when he opened it.
They finally opened the door, she's just there with a gun out going, you.
Where is he? Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it would have been quite a good visual. Like, they fight their way right to the end, and there's like walkers, and then they just hear someone take out the walkers, and when they open it, like blood-covered Maggie is glaring at him.
Where's Negan?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. hey, you're okay. Like, hey, I knew you'd be fine.
You can imagine, yeah, I thought you were behind me. Ah.
Yeah. Hey, it's the widow. Guns are blazing. No, too soon. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did like. So initially, I was just kind of like, oh no, but I actually felt as the episode went, it was quite an interesting thing because of course you have this discussion in this moment where he's like, look, you're gonna kill me. You literally, everyone here heard her. You want to kill me. You want me dead. So what you're telling me is you're all mad at me that I didn't risk my life to save the person who is literally wanting to kill me.
It made sense. It made sense.
No, it does. But he's just, and the way he lays it out, you can almost see the people like, "Oh, you son of a." Okay, kind of, yeah. I kind of see where you're going there.
Yeah,
like,
she's just told me she's going to shoot me, and then I could save her or leave her. What do you expect?
It's like, what do you expect? He's just like, I didn't hurt her, I didn't kill her, I just didn't risk my nuts to save her.
That's it. Yeah, he didn't try to kill her. He just didn't help her.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, don't get me wrong, this is warped, but it's Negan. Negan is warped. So, but what is really interesting is like, so that conversation's happening, then that guy who ran away appears at the back of the train.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. You probably got it there, but
no, I haven't.
So basically, he's like up against the window, and he's like, "Oh, let me in, let me in." They're like, "Nah." Well, no, Maggie's like, "Nope."
Yeah.
So she's not killing him, but she's just not helping him.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. That like everyone's there, like we've got time. Just open the door, then close it behind him.
Yeah,
we have time. We have. And she's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're not going to risk it. See, now what I didn't get in that, and I know it's done for the scene, okay? Yeah. What I don't get in that is two things, okay? One, if you are genuinely making the call of, no, we can't risk opening that door and them getting in here, we might not be able to seal it properly, I'm sorry. Why stand there and watch? You've made the decision.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Get out of there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we are on a timetable, we need to move. This guy's done this to himself. We can't risk all of the group to save him. I'm sorry, kid. Best of luck. And you leave. You don't stand there and watch the guy die. So that was one thing. The second thing is the guy. So the guy draws his knives, and I'm like, well, yeah, you know, they're all those walkers. You're in a confined space, so they can only come at you one, maybe two at a time. You got a chance, you know, you've got a fighting chance. You've backed yourself into a corner, but you do have a fight. And then he stabs himself.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I imagine being torn and eaten alive is pretty much the worst, right up there way to go. But surely, man, you got a couple of knives, you're this far into the apocalypse, you know how to kill walkers, you've got to be backing yourself to take them out.
At least give it a go.
Yeah. You know, yeah, true, you might get bit and stuff when you're out, you know, but damn, I'd have gone out swinging. Just absolutely.
Yeah, because like I couldn't tell fully if he had actually died before the zombies got. I mean, he was still stood up.
No.
So for that instant, I'd say he hasn't. So he's just really messed himself up. He's gone through the pain of stabbing himself twice.
Yeah.
And then got ripped apart.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I like literally was just like, I don't get that scene at all. I don't get the guy's mindset at all. You know, if he had a gun and he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger, I'd go, okay, all right, I get that. I get that.
That would be my way out on that situation.
I get that. You know, I get that he looks back and went, I ain't gonna survive this. I got one bullet left. I'd rather a bullet and blink and I'm gone than be ripped apart alive.
Yeah.
And then I'm not coming back either. So boom. Yeah, okay. I'd get that. I'd be like, okay. But to have the two knives and be like, oh no, I'm gonna start carving open my chest. Like, no.
If anything, he's just made an entry, point for the zombies to rip to.
Anything, you know? Yeah, it's like the walker's like, ooh, I smell fresh blood. Excellent. Yeah, thank you. So no, I didn't fully understand. I didn't get the whole watching him thing, and then just sitting there like, oh look, now he's turned. Hey.
And the only person that seems to be at all bothered about it is Jersey Shore.
Yeah, no. So Jersey Shore Walker, of course, was Savior Walker. who basically got turned to the light side whilst being held captive by Maggie. Maggie from the hilltop is a very different creature to Maggie now. The rest of the group are kind of Team Maggie now, so they're part of this. And Maggie then tells a story. Now, I don't know about you, but I was kind of strangely captivated by this story in a really dark way. Where
it sounds like something from like the X-Files.
Because I was captivated by it in a dark way, along the lines of, The Walking Dead wouldn't show this. But even talking about it was kind of like, wow,
this is messed up. Yeah.
They've gone to a dark place, So if I've understood this story correctly, by the way, and jump in if I haven't, because I was just kind of listening to it like, holy shit. So basically, a group of guys were chloroforming women they found, removing their arms and legs, raping them, and then just leaving them to die pregnant. That's kind of what I got. And the babies were turning, and like she talks about a walker with movement in the stomach, and I was just like, I'm like, this is so dark, this is so messed up. And the way she tells it, ice cold, and the way she says, like, after I killed them all I thought about was, where's the food?
Yeah.
And then she says the truth, doesn't she? She's like, I don't feel nothing for that. Like, I don't. I was like, but the thing is like, the only person on that train who seems to completely get it was Negan.
Yeah.
Who kind of like looks at her like, yeah, solidarity, sister. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because if you remember watching that Origin episode, like when his wife died, that was it. He went into that kind of numb rage.
He went full on rampage, yeah.
Yeah, and he never really recovered from that until Rick slit his throat and threw him in jail. That that kind of snapped him back out of that, back into the world a little bit. So when she was like laying it down, you could see the look on his face of like, yeah, that sounds, yeah.
That's how it happens, yeah.
Yeah, but did you also think he had the look on his face of, oh crap, yeah, she really is going to kill me?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, damn it, there really is no way I'm getting out of this. So that's the kind of core group in the underground. What did you think about the kind of Daryl side story to that, with him going through the tunnels and stuff? Because I've got two things on that, but I'd love to get your opinion first.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one at first, because when it first happened, I was like, come on, Daryl. Like, you're really just going to run off on your own in an unknown place just to follow the dog.
Chasing the dog, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, fair enough. And then he kind of goes through, finds all these weird and wonderful things, and
yeah,
I was like waiting for him to run into like some real bad trouble.
Yeah.
And then he obviously finds the old man as well. And it was a nice kind of to one side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are all safe in your train cart at the moment. Daryl's battling through tunnels to find the dog. And then as the other group suddenly find themselves into a lot of trouble, that's when Daryl's kind of like, oh, okay, this is a nice big room. So it kind of had a nice contrast of each other.
Yeah.
That's about as much as I got on it.
Well, because like I, like you, was kind of liking the discovery, the kind of like the mural on the wall, the stuff people have written, the note left on the money, and the fact that the guy had his hand cut off with the briefcase full of money, just basically showing all of that was meaningless.
Yeah.
Once the world fell.
Yeah, I've got a briefcase full of money, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Died anyway.
Yeah, died, exactly. So I was kind of like going through it all, just like, this is all interesting, and kind of like, because we're seeing elements of what must have happened shortly after the world fell, and the kind of poignant note of, dad's went missing, mum went looking for dad, and the kids are left there. And the kind of imagery of that, and the kind of, damn, those poor poor buggers. I do wonder if something's going to come of that, because he kept it. So that's
kind of feel like there's a reason he kept it, surely.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting on its own. But the other aspect to it, which there's parts where he's going through these tunnels with Dog, and there's walkers and stuff, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, I think, throughout Season 11, is there's no danger because it's Daryl. And I'm not saying that from a plot armor point of view, I'm saying it because they've announced the spin-off. And I've talked about it with Carol last week, and I'm talking about it with Daryl this week, which is, it took me completely out of it, because I know he's fine. So there's like a walker coming up on him, there's walkers ahead of him, you know, it looks like he's trapped in a tunnel, he can't maneuver properly, and you're like, well, anyone else, you'd be worried.
Yeah, but if that was Jerry, for us, for example, if that was Jerry...
Oh, I'd be screaming.
Or that
Get
was
out of
Rosita,
there, Jerry.
Someone like that.
Yeah.
We'd be there, edge of the seat, going, come on, find a way. It's Daryl, you're like, spin-off.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's absolutely fine. And
I mean, my only thing, I'm going to say it now quickly, and then we're going to forget about it.
Okay.
How amazing would it be if halfway through this season, they kill one of them off?
Yeah.
And it turns out that actually this spin-off is what happened of her going out and finding him and stuff during that time jump. Just to really screw us all over. Because we're all like, they're not going to die. Oh my God, Carol just got her head blown off.
Well, if that happened, I'd be on board. Honestly, I don't think they'd do it. But if they did, it would be kind of cool. It would be a shock. It would shake us up to the point of, oh wow, no one's safe again. And that
I was only thinking about this because the whole Black Widow thing. Black Widow dies in the films and then gets her own film as like a prequel-y sort of thing.
Yeah.
I just suddenly started thinking. I was like, imagine if The Walking Dead actually did that.
Oh no! You got a potential idea, especially if they've signed up to do a short run thing. But from what I've read, they've signed up for it to be ongoing. So.
Okay, maybe not then.
No, I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I tried to save them.
Hey man, you could still be right. We'll have to wait and see. We do get kind of what I think is like the Commando Daryl scene, which I find quite funny, where he's got the gun off the guy who's been bit. He like checks it for how many bullets he's got. He steps onto the back of the train, and he kind of like does this, okay, and just goes through the train shooting.
I absolutely love the visuals of this.
That was a great, because he's got the torch. He was absolutely brilliantly well.
And the fact that we saw it from like the outside, just of him walking along, it was something like you'd expect either like out of a video game or something like that.
Like a video game, it was a bit like a John Wick film, if anyone's seen those.
Yeah.
It was just a great scene because the heads pop in, as these guys. It was great. It was a really good scene. I really liked that. And then we got the grenade thing, which cracked me up, right? So, and don't get me wrong, it's not like crack me up in a bad way or anything like that. It cracked me up in a kind of like, that's so Daryl.
Yeah.
He shoves this grenade into a walker, boots the walker back into like the mini herd that's there, shuts the door, and then boom, and that whole cart is just gut central. It just so gross, and it's just so fun. So yeah, I love that. Love that way of clearing the way. But yeah, so no, I enjoyed this kind of him getting them out. That was good. I enjoyed the tension of them being pursued on the train as well. That was quite good.
And them coming them from both ends.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. That was an interesting storytelling mechanism, which was good. They get up to the surface. They kind of take a bit of a break. Maggie again is like, "Come on, we got to push on. I know where there's some supplies and some weapons." Daryl gives her a bit of a funny look at that point, kind of like, "Well, why didn't you say this before?"
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see if Daryl's... Well, I don't think we're going to find out. It'd be interesting to see if Daryl speaks to her at any point along those lines of like anything else you've just forgot to mention, while we're out here. But of course they do run into problems. They're going down like a street in Washington, D.C., and Negan suddenly notices there's a guy hanging upside down from a lamppost. And then as they look down the street is literally both sides lined with these things.
Every lamppost upside down body,
Yeah, which was messed up. And then out of nowhere you see an arrow come through. The guy got bit, gets taken out, so that's one less job for them all to do. And they kind of duck and cover. One guy gets hit in the leg, I think. And then the scene
like
ends.
A throwing knife he gets hit in the leg by. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it did look like it, yeah. And then the scene ends with like this group of absolute badasses marching down the road towards them. That's how that ends. So,
do we think they are the Reapers? Is it the Reapers?
I think that's what they call it. I think it's got to be, hasn't it? I mean, they look like that one guy we encountered before.
Yeah, they don't look like they're there to mess around.
No, they don't look like a friendly bunch. No.
And there's Maggie, like, there's not many of them. We'll take them out by ourselves. It's fine. That's a fair old group of people walking down the road towards them.
Yeah, and I get the impression Maggie's full of shit.
I am getting that. I'm actually quite disappointed at how she's come back into this.
Well,
as a character that I really liked before she left, she's now come back, and I'm like, oh, you're just a bitch.
I liked her up until her final scenes. You know, Maggie's character, you know, absolutely loved her all the way from, like, because you see her go from the kind of innocence of the farm to go through everything she went through, and then losing Glenn, and you're kind of completely on board, you're kind of completely with her. She's the one holding everyone together, like, we have to fight, we can't just surrender. And to come all the way through that, and then to be like Mafia Maggie, really irked me.
Yeah, the Mafia Maggie part wasn't needed.
No, that really irked me. And then she left, and I was kind of like, well, I know the actress was done and she went off to do a different show. It annoyed me how they left it with that mafia crap. But it's done. I'll remember Maggie as the Maggie I remember. And then she's come back.
I'm not impressed with it. How she's come back.
I think based on the story she told. But there is an aspect of the story she told as well. It's like, you know, she left to be with that group that were going around helping people.
So where the hell happened to them?
Yeah, so what the hell was she doing on her own starving? You know, there's
just
stuff,
her and Herschel, what's happening?
There's stuff there that we don't know. There's stuff there that we need to know. But I'm guessing over time we will. And I'm guessing as an actress, Lauren Cohen probably upon returning wanted, you know, didn't want to just slot back in. Like, you know, come on, give me something to work with that's a bit different. So I'm guessing that's why.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I still feel lucky that she got what she got, considering she walked away and all that happened, to then walk back and be like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think she had every reason to walk away when
she did. Yes.
She was, without a doubt, one of the stars of the show and getting paid a fraction of what her male co-workers
100%.
were, so,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Of course, she's come back. She's still on less money, but anyway. That's by the by. Work is work, Lauren. You do you, girl. Yeah. When it comes to the other aspect of this episode, then, so Eugene, etc., we saw them basically on the verge of escaping last week, only for Yumiko to find this note, which we learn is from her brother.
Yes, and then turn around and go back again. Yeah.
So they've got themselves back in. So my kind of notes on this were like, Yumiko, etc., have stayed. Yumiko's brother. We have this very funny, I want to speak to your supervisor moment. She's like, okay, well, I want to talk. And the guard's like, you want to speak to my supervisor?
Yeah.
Like you're
such
aware.
A Karen. God.
Like, you're aware this is 10 years into your apocalypse, ma'am. It's like, are you serious? And like Princess in the background giving it, we want to speak to the manager, bitch.
Yeah.
But Yumiko goes in this room and goes full lawyer. How great was that scene?
I loved it, yeah. You're this, you're that. I guarantee you've done this, this, and this. You've done this, this, and this. Try me.
Yeah. But what I liked about that scene was the kind of like, they were like taken aback and, oh, okay. Yeah, you could be useful.
Yeah.
And like even the guy in like the red suit comes in, like, here's a coffee.
Yeah. Okay,
like,
fair enough.
Let's talk. You are someone of interest. Princess gets to use the toilet with toilet paper, which cracks me up. Her reaction to that news.
Yeah, she's happy.
She's like, oh, I need to use the toilet. It's like pointing outside. The guy's like, the toilet's in there. She's like, there's a toilet. And she asks, doesn't she, there's toilet paper? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh my god, this is so good. Again, little luxuries that clearly all of us take for granted.
Apparently so.
Non-zombie world. But yeah, so they then get kind of separated again. Now, we have this weird thing with Eugene. So, Eugene's on his own. They've kind of psychologically tortured Eugene a little bit. I'm guessing just to see if he'd crack.
Yeah.
And so they've separated him completely. He kind of don't know what's going on. You know, Ezekiel's missing. he literally watches Yumiko go into a room, and then when he asks how she is, they're like, "There's no one in there."
Yeah, you haven't got any friends. What are you on about? Go back.
He's like, "Well, my other friend went to the toilet." It's like, "No, she didn't." And he's like, "I know she did." So now Eugene goes in as like a blubbering wreck, like pouring his heart out. And we've seen Eugene basically be a coward since we met him. We know Eugene is an absolute wimp. But there's something I noticed in this, which I don't know whether it was deliberate or not, so I want to put it to you.
Yeah.
Eugene's like shaking, he's like visibly, and he's like tearing up and everything. But then the camera showed his hand go under the table, it's perfectly still.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, oh, he's putting it on.
Yeah, that's what I was like, because I remember he'd been in the room when he's laying down, he's like carving a shiv.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm watching it, and I saw it, the hand go under the table, and I was expecting him to be like holding the shiv or something.
Yeah, me too.
Or pressing it into his leg or something to try and make the tears. And it doesn't, it's just him with that hand resting on his leg. And I was like, oh, you're no longer a useless wreck. Well done.
So he completely did this awkward story of I'm a virgin, I've watched loads of people have sex but never done it myself.
Yeah.
I just came here for the girl, and I dragged my friends along and I lied to them, and like we got no settlement, and I was worried that if I told her I didn't really come from a settlement, she wouldn't be interested in me. And I'm like, wow, you've actually done a really smart thing, because there's no way anyone in that room's thinking this guy's all together. They're now sat there thinking, what a dork.
Yeah, they're now thinking what we've been thinking for the last 10 series.
Yeah, what an ass. Yeah, but it works, and I was kind of impressed. I was genuinely like, well done, Eugene, because I think perhaps he recognises if they kept going, he would have broke. He would have been like, okay, give me a map, I'll show you exactly where it is.
Yeah.
So he did that in this kind of like total hysterical throw of the dice, and it worked. And then they take him to the other three, and the guy in the red makes like to Ezekiel is like, beat cop. He's like really angry with him. Like, I went to West Point.
That, did he?
No, like, I went to West Point, mother. He like really didn't like that remark. And he's like, when we open up these doors, you are in the Commonwealth. Someone's going to take you to orientation. And they're like, okay. And the person who shows up to take him is Stephanie.
Is it though?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
it?
with you. I'm with you. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but I mean, I've written down "Welcome to the Commonwealth. We meet Stephanie?" ?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to find out next week, because obviously Eugene's going to be like, "How you doing?"
Hey,
if she doesn't answer the questions correctly, Eugene's going to cotton on pretty quick.
You think so?
No, I think he would. You know how paranoid he is. So
yeah.
He's blatantly going to be like, "Oh, on July 12th, we said this, and what did you say?"
Yeah.
And so,
what song did I sing to you the first time I decided to serenade your lovely voice?
Bang, you got it. Yeah, that was a decent Eugene, my friend. Well done.
Disappointed in myself.
So yeah, I mean, that was the episode. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, the first episode, I kind of the Sleeping Walkers thing irked me. And then the whole episode in general, I was kind of a bit irked by that. But I thought, okay, it's a decent setup. We know what's going on, and we're following these stories. I felt this episode was good because the Maggie group, we've got confrontation and action.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Eugene group, we're getting this bigger world. We're getting kind of like answers. We're finding out information. So I liked both aspects. I liked that we're seeing that.
So my question: so we now know that is definitely the Commonwealth,
but I've been looking for the three symbols.
I haven't seen it anyway. So now, do we reckon there's now divisions in the Commonwealth?
I don't know, because I don't know where, because the Three Rings thing is a TV thing that is not in the comics.
Yeah,
but I always assumed that was the TV's Commonwealth. I always assumed that was going to be
how it works.
Thing. But this, for all we know, this is separate, or it could be the third ring, because I think we've only seen two of the rings.
Well, didn't we hear about it? We heard about the third one. But there's that part of it where I'm like, but who are these guys?
Like, the guy in red says something about like the colonies or the communities of the Commonwealth. Now, when I heard that, I thought, oh, yeah, this is linking in. But then, of course, my brain corrected me, like, no, because they're still saying Commonwealth. Yeah. And at no point in the World Beyond, no point in Fear, did those characters use the word Commonwealth.
No.
It was all about, the individual communities that they were and referred to the CRM and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing more information about it.
Yeah, I like to think that at some point there's going to be a map or there's going to be some sort of suggestion.
Yeah.
Where we'll go, look, that's where World Beyond is, or something like that, or you know, even if it's just them going, we've got colonies all throughout the USA. Yeah, we've got the CRM in. Wherever,
just something,
and just be like, okay.
Or you see a helicopter with the symbol, and even if it's just a real background nod to the link, we'd be like, great, brilliant, we see it,
There it is. Know. We use that. We've still got helicopters. We use them to fly supplies to other communities. And there's loads of different helicopters, and one of them has the 3 circles, and you're like, yes!
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I also, in Season 11, I don't know about you, but I'm desperate for, whether it's in Fear, whether it's in The Walking Dead, or whether it's in that Season 2 of The World Beyond, something to do with Rick.
Yeah.
We know the movies are still going to happen and still going to film, etc. If that is the case, in amongst these shows, we need some reference somewhere for us as fans to just go, boom, there. I mean, the Michonne finding the etched phone and stuff like that in his boots was all well and good, but that could have been taken off a corpse. Do you know what I mean? She's gone off to investigate.
Yep.
/ join the MCU. So we don't know.
It's one of those things we need. Like, I feel like a lot of Walking Dead fans, after a couple of really crap seasons, and after the rubbish that was The World Beyond, there's a lot of fans that are watching this now purely to get the information for the film. Yeah, so they need to give us something.
Well, feedback generally from like people listening to this show and the people who get in touch. And by the way, if that's you, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And if you don't get in touch but you listen, feel free, because we love talking about this stuff. You don't have to agree with us. You can email in and say, "Oh, I thought this," because I love that. That's the whole reason we do it, is to discuss things.
Yes.
But a couple of people who emailed from last week, for example, were basically on the lines of literally watching season 11 because they announced it was the last one. I kind of like got to the end of 10 and thought 10 seasons of a show, I'm good, I'm done. I kind of was watching the Rick story, so now he's gone, I felt weird continuing it anyway. I mean, they reckon about 40% of the audience left with Rick, and about half of that returned when the film was announced. So a lot of people just went, I've watched the Rick Grimes story, I'm done. But then a lot of them went, oh, there's going to be a film. Okay, in that case, I need to know what's going on, and returned.
Yeah.
But you need to give them something. You're going to need to. It's just...
It's going to be, before long, it's just going to be a case of, do you know what? I'll just wait for the movie to come out, and I'll find a YouTube video that tells me what I need to know before the Rick Grimes film. Bang.
Yeah, because there will be. Of course there will. But yeah, I mean, that's it, man. That's all my notes. Did you have anything else?
No, you've covered the shebang, eh?
Yeah, brilliant. This is Walking Dead Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next Wednesday to discuss The Walking Dead again. That'll be episode 3. If you're a Marvel fan, keep watching What If. When the What If series ends, we will be doing a What If podcast special just to summarise the series, talk about other possibilities in the What If and whether it can go into live action like many people are speculating it will. We will also be keeping our eyes peeled for the launch date of other shows that we like to cover on this, The Umbrella Academy, The Boys, etc. We are expecting season trailers for these shows imminently. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and we'll post it to the Facebook page. Until then, everybody, you take care. Mate, I'll speak to you again next week.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things Podcast to join in our conversation every week.